Hi guys, hello and welcome back to my channel. It's me, your favorite girl, Berizzy of BERIZZYs Closet. And if you don't know, BERIZZYs Closet is an online boutique that sells female clothes from a size small all the way up to a size 4XL. Head on over there and check your girl out, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Now let's get into the story time, okay? Because your girl is about to spill some tea. Okay, so as you've seen on the title, today I'm going to be giving you guys a story time about, God's timing, especially in my journey to America. So I've been in the United States now for almost 9 years. Yeah, over 8 years now. I came here in August of 2015, and this is in 2024. So your girl is almost 9 years in the United States, and I give God the glory. However, my journey here was not the smoothest, but it was not the most difficult. All that taught us was God's time is the best. I'm making this video also in memory of my darling auntie. Her name too is Bernice, and unfortunately, she passed away few days ago, and it's just been hard on me, but I told myself, like, I'm not gonna let nothing deter me anymore, not even grief. I'm gonna grieve along the way. So I was supposed to be in the United States since I was probably like 4, 5-ish or so. This auntie that passed away was the one that asked my mom if she could bring me to the United States and then see how they could come later. And my parents agreed. Unfortunately, the paperwork took forever. So they filed my paperwork in 1998 or 2000. I cannot remember exactly when, but it's around that time. I was really, really small. And I remember my mom would tell me like, oh, we're filing for you. You're going to United States and all that good stuff. And mind you, coming to the United States is never easy. And after 2001, it became extremely difficult and all. So my parents were supposed to come also, but something that happened in 2000 that prevented them from coming. So this was a good opportunity, at least for me, to come here, and then later they will come. So my auntie filed the paperwork, and it took forever. The paperwork did not mature till 2006. That's when the paperwork matured finally, and that's when I was called for an interview. I was called for an interview in Senegal because back then we did not have a U.S. embassy in my country in Sierra Leone. So I had to go to Senegal with my mom, my real mom. But my auntie filed as my mom. She filed for me as her child, which was the biggest error she did make. I would say it was not God's timing, but usually back then it was easy. Just say this person is your child and then they can go. We went to Senegal for the interview, and the man looked at my mom and me, and we look almost alike. For context, I'll try to put my mom's picture here just in case you don't know. And he was like, okay, you guys forgot the power of attorney. We don't see a power of attorney. Why are you the one bringing her if you're not her mom, blah, blah, blah. So we had to reschedule the interview again for another time. My auntie sent the power of attorney, and then we had to go back for the interview. We went back, and this guy that saw us again, he was like, damn, you guys are a replica. How's this one not your child? But they asked me a lot of questions. My parents had prepped me, and I answered the questions, and he said, unfortunately, you guys would have to go do a DNA test to convince me. The answers on the papers are convincing, but I need a DNA test. And whole and behold, that would not be possible because she was not my mom. So unfortunately, in 2006, I could not come and all. However, I never lost hope because I've always wanted to come to the US. Like, who doesn't? Well, there are people who don't, but for me personally, it was a big dream for me to come. So we forgot about the process then, and then my mom, she kept on playing the DV lottery, and that's what she kept on playing and playing and playing. And finally, in 2010, my mom was lucky. She won the DV lottery, and she was able to come. Unfortunately, again, God's timing, when my mom played the DV lottery, because she has been playing it for like 16 years prior, since it started in 1994 when I was born. She never won, so she never took it serious again. She was like, okay, fine, just play my name. And that time she just said, oh, just play it for me alone. Boom. She got chosen and she was supposed to come. So the paperwork had wholly her name. We were not part of it. So unfortunately, it was wholly my mom who could come. That's my real mom, my biological mom. And in 2011, my mom got her visas and everything, and she left me back home and she flew here. It was really hard for me, but by that time I was almost done with school. I was like in fifth form, and it was just one of those things. It was so hard being away from my mom from 2011. So she came, stayed a bit. She stayed for like 6 months, and then she went back home because my mom, the two of us, were like this. So she came back home and stayed there for almost a year. She couldn't stay for a year exactly because her green card would expire. But she stayed home for almost a year, and then she came back to the US in 2012. By that time, I'd had my son, and it was me, my son, my dad, who were the ones living back home. God's timing. Fast forward to 2014. During the Ebola, it was so unbearable in my country for me because I was feeling frustrated, and I had a lot of friends who had left, and I was like, this country is just not for me anymore. It was just a lot going on, and I wanted a change, and So my mom told me that she had to stay for like 2 years first before she could actually file for any of us to come here. So, and I was almost 21 because you need to file for your unmarried child below 21 for it to be faster. Above 21, it's going to take a long time. So in 2014, I was so frustrated, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling him how frustrating and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, I came in through an agent. Do you want to come and give it a try? And I was like, sure, bro, give me the number. And he was like, oh, he can't talk to you. He only speaks to your parent. And I was like, okay, fine. Give me the number. I'll give it to my mom. And I did. And my mom called the guy. And the guy was like, yeah, I can help you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like so excited. So I had taken my O-levels and everything at that time. And I'd also started school, university in my country, okay? And I was so frustrated with it. Like, I was just so tired with it. I didn't want it. Like, it was just a lot, sharp. So my mom decided to finally file for me in 2015 because by that time she would have had the number of months that's needed for her to, put in our paperwork. So she put in the paperwork 1 month before my 21st birthday, which I was so happy about, because if I was over 21, that would have taken forever. And I was thinking it was going to be like bum, 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 but it took forever too. So I waited for a couple of months, and that process was going to take long. The moment I realized that I was going to take time, then I finally proceeded again with my friend's offer for the school. And then I applied. Man, I was so scared because I have been rejected once, and I went in. They asked me the questions about that rejection, and I told them I was a minor. They did that, not my fault. And they were like, yeah, you're really a minor, blah, blah, blah. And oh shit, I got the visa. Yes. I got the visa on the student's pathway, which, to be honest, looking back now, it's so hard for you to have two concurrent immigration process going on, an immigrant and a non-immigrant. But it was God's time. It was God's time. So it was, I don't know, it happened. And I got the visa, and I was able to move here in 2015. When I first moved, I was living in Alabama. Then I learned again that I could actually bring my son in with my student visa. So after a year at that school, I had to, file for my son now and then go back and bring my son. So in 2016, I filed for my son after a year being here. I filed for my son and it was so fast. And in 2017, my son was able to join me here. And also my dad, because my dad's paperwork matured faster than mine. So my dad was able to, come here. So since 2015 till 2017, I was still an international student, paying a lot of money, and my green card was not approved yet. At that time now, I had to file in the adjustment of status, and my mom, we did the paperwork, did everything. It was just taking forever. If you have dealt with USCIS, trust me, they are as slow as a slug. So they took forever and all. And then in 2017, I went for the interview. And then finally, in February of 2018, I got my green card. And oh my gosh, it was such a relief, It was not easy, but it was a relief to know because at that time I couldn't work because I was an international student, trying to see if I could get an under the table job, like they said. People were being mean. Somebody actually told me that, oh, I can give you an under the table job if you can work and then we have to share your pay 50-50. I was like, no, sweetheart, you can keep the job. That's how mean people were to me. So I couldn't work. And it was frustrating, it was really frustrating. So 2018 finally came. Boom, your girl got her green card. And I was like, yes. I thought my son was going to get his green card automatically. Unfortunately, that was not the case. I had to find my son's paperwork in 2018. And then it did not mature till like 2021. So the time my son's paperwork finally came back together, he had lost his status as an F2 dependent because I was no longer an international student. But because he is a minor, he was not penalized for overstaying, even when his visa and stuff was expired. The only thing is I couldn't take him out of the country. Because if I took him out, I will need a valid visa or stuff to bring him back in. So he couldn't go anywhere. So 2021, finally, his paperwork matured and we got called for an interview. And unfortunately for him, I had to go back home to Sierra Leone to do the paperwork. And that was the time I left and went back home when unfortunately my mom passed away. Just in case you didn't know. Yes, my mom passed away in 2021. And we went there and luckily for us, he was able to get his visa and we were able to come back. Trust me, like when it's God's time, everything goes smooth. Like they did not ask me any questions. They looked at him, they looked at me and they saw like, boom, that's my son. So they did not ask me any question. They just asked for the paperwork. I presented it. They took his passport and they were like, okay, you guys can come back at so time. And that was it. And then we came back. And finally in 2020, because my green card has to be matured for 5 years before I could become a US citizen. And then finally in 2023, I filed in the paperwork in 2022, yeah. But in 2023, my 5 years were up, and July of 2023, July 14th, your girl became a US citizen. I was so grateful, and that's one thing I'll tell anyone. Being a US citizen, for me, I don't know about any other person, but for me, it's a big accomplishment. It's a big opportunity for me, knowing where I'm from and, the advantages I have over here. It's a big opportunity for me that I do not take for granted. And your girl became a US citizen, and to God be the glory, everything worked out well. Why am I sharing this story? Why am I telling you about my journey to the US? Because I'm also trying to encourage people because I'm in a season wherein, God is teaching me how to be patient, how to be grateful, and is reminding me how far I've come, and also to trust in Him and trust in His timing and know that He makes everything right at His own time. So, looking back when I came here, I had someone who had relocated in 2006. Both of us we were supposed to come here together, and she came. I couldn't come at that time. And she had a lot of painful stories to tell. I'm not saying my aunt or uncle were going to be mean or anything to me. Hell no, far from that. My auntie was a sweet lady. However, I am grateful for the fact that, I got to spend time with my mom because, look, my mom passed away when I'm still so young. And I got to spend all my life with my parents, my dad and my mom. I see how people who were raised by other family member, give their own ordeal because no matter what, your parents are your parents, okay? Like if somebody else does something to you, even if your parents do the same thing to you, you're not gonna see them as mean. You're just gonna say, "Oh, they're disciplining me." But if somebody else does the same thing to you, you'll be like, "Oh, cause you're not my parents, cause I'm not your child." So those little things are one of the things that I'm grateful for. And looking back at how smooth everything has gone, like all of us are here. My dad is able to come to the US at will. He's a resident here. He can be a citizen whenever he chooses to. It's all up to him. And then my son is a US citizen now. I am a US citizen, and I'm just grateful to God that He worked everything out in His timing. And also growing up in Sierra Leone for the first 21 years of my life is a blessing that I cannot trade for anything. I have my son, living there. I have so many memories. I have so many things. I have a lot to look back at and be thankful for. I was telling my son the other day, I was like, I'm grateful to God because when I hear other people's childhood story, they have so much bad memories and all. I can sit and comfortably tell anyone that I had a good childhood. It's not the best, but it's the best that I could get at that time. And I'm grateful for it. You know, I grew up with so much love, with so much family members. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. So this is just for me to look back at and for you to know that God works in a mysterious ways. God's timing are always the best. I was really disappointed. I was really sad when I couldn't come in 2006 because I remember I had told all my friends, "Oh, I'm going to America. I'm going to America." And then they saw me back in school the next day. That is why I do not share stuff anymore before they happen. When it happens, then I can share because I just don't want to jinx it up. I just don't want to feel disappointed and, look like a liar. But it's the will of God for our life. It makes everything right at every time. My aunt and I, we became good, we became close. And last year, I'm so grateful that I got to see her. She called everyone, she wanted a family reunion, and we all went. And I'm so happy, which is something that gives me peace right now. That I was there with my auntie when she was alive. I'm not just gonna go there now that she's dead. No. She flew here to me, and I was able to do the same, go over to her. And, I have a beautiful childhood. I have a beautiful memory of her. I have so much to be thankful to her and to God for. So, all I'm saying to you is no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter how misaligned things are, because not everything is the way I want it right now, but I'm trusting on God. I'm trusting Him that in His own time, it will make everything right. Don't just lose it all. Hold on to God, hold on to His promise. At His own time, He's going to make everything right. And this is also for me, okay? I'm going to look at my videos and remind myself, like, Bernice, you said this. You have to continue to believe this because you believe it. That's why you're saying it right now. So we've come to the end of today's video. And on this note, I want to say a very big thank you for sticking with me till the end. I also, if you've not subscribed to my channel, I hope you vibe with me, you love my content, and if you do, please click on the subscribe button down below right here on your screen, and also turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post amazing and beautiful content like this. On here, I film about beauty, fashion, lifestyle, and everything in between, okay? And also, you can follow me on my social media platform. That's going to be linked in the description box below. And until next time, I want to say a very big thank you. and I'll see you in my next one. And also you can check out my other videos over here or over here, and I'll see you. Bye.